spells, hexes, and curses gone wrong. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Spells gone wrong. Story time. So Jose and Maria have been married for over 15 years. They own a business, a home, they have 2 children, and Maria is currently pregnant with their 3rd child. Now, because Maria is put on bed rest during this pregnancy, she can no longer go to work. So that means that her and Jose have to hire a new secretary to pull her weight. Now, Susie is 24, straight out of college, very beautiful and intelligent, so she applies for the job and she gets it. But Jose and Susie are talking, they're flirting, and within a couple of weeks, they're in a full-blown affair. But his mother warns him, you know you have a family at home, you can't be doing this. Jose tells his mom, you just take care of my wife and baby while I'm at work. I got this. I pay the bills. So 2 months later, Jose and Susie are still going strong in their affair when one day Susie rolls over and says, hey, guess what? You're going to be a daddy again. I'm pregnant. His eyes were big as quarters because he knew if anyone found out about this woman or baby, he would lose everything, including his family. So Jose tries to talk Susie into having an abortion, but she says absolutely not. We intentionally created this child and I'm going to have it. He knew he could not piss Susie off or she could destroy his life in many ways. So he gets the idea to tell his family that he is stressed out at work, bogged down and depressed, and the best thing they can do is pack up and leave the country and just start over fresh. So to keep Susie at bay, Jose lies to her and says, look, I love you, and as soon as you have this baby, I'm going to leave my wife and kids and we're going to be together. Susie's in shock. She can't believe that he's ready to make that kind of a commitment. The only problem was he was lying to her, and within a few weeks when his wife had her baby, he packs his family up and moves them to America, leaving a pregnant Susie behind. When they left, Susie is calling Jose's phone, leaving voicemails, texting, blowing him up like, where the hell are you? So Susie tells her mom that Jose has ghosted her, and her mom informs her that Jose has moved his family to America. They're gone. She loses it. She starts blowing his phone up, calling and texting, you abandoned us. I'm going to tell everyone. He just keeps lying. He says, wait, I did this for us. As soon as I get established and get more money, I'm going to leave her and then bring you and the baby here and we'll be a family. 6 more months goes by. She's had the baby and Jose has still not sent for her. He just keeps stringing her along. Well, she gets mad and says, look, Jose, if you don't get your ass on a plane and come get us, I'm coming to you. Do you understand? I can't be without you. He said, no, but I hope you understand. I don't want nothing to do with you or your bastard. Don't contact me again. So at this point, Susie is stressing. She has no income, no transportation, no family support, no help from Jose. She doesn't know how she's going to take care of this child. So she went to a local village healer to try to get some help. Susie told the healer, I need a love spell, the strongest one you got. And the healer responded, are you sure you can afford this? Because this is going to cost a lot more than money. Susie got on her knees and said, I don't care. I will pay whatever price it costs. Just make this man come back to me. The healer said, okay, but you understand the price for this, and Susie cut him off. I don't care what the price is. Just do it. The healer said, take this herb, grind it up real fine, add some blood from your menstrual cycle, cut some hair from your head and his, grind it all up real fine, and then put it in his food. He must eat this before or after Schmegs. Doesn't matter which, but make sure he eats it all. Understand, once you do this, that man is not going to leave you alone. She said, well, good, that's what I want. Susie finds out through the grapevine that Jose is coming back to their country just for a couple of days to get the rest of his family's belongings and to tie up some loose ends, and she knows that's when she's going to have to do it. On the day that he returns, Susie put on her sexiest outfit and goes to the airport, and as soon as Jose stepped off that plane, Susie bumped into him and said, hey, stranger. Jose is like, oh, hey. She said, it's okay, I'm not mad anymore. I've gotten over all that. And Jose was dumb enough to fall for it. He thought, wow, I can hook up with her tonight and nobody would ever know and just go get my family stuff tomorrow. And of course, just like we all predicted, he wound up in a hotel room making love to Susie all night. While he was asleep, Susie cut his hair, her hair, and she even took a patch of the baby's hair to make sure it was stronger. She put that herb and her blood in it, mixed it up, and served him breakfast. Jose was so drained from the night before that he ate up every single morsel of that meal. He didn't miss a crumb, and Susie just stood there smiling because she knew she was about to get what she wanted. Susie tries to cuddle with Jose, and that's when he jumps up. I have to go. I made a mistake. We can't do this again. She said, okay, have a nice day. She wasn't mad or worried at all because she knew he was coming back to her. So they leave the hotel, and then Susie sits by the phone waiting on his call, just praying that the spell worked. So 2 days later, Jose calls her and says, hey, I've left my wife and kids. You're all I think about. I want you. I need you. I'm coming back to you. She said, well, good. Hurry. Well, later that day, Jose called her 3 more times back to back, but she missed the first 2 calls, and when she answered the 3rd time, he was screaming at her, where the hell are you? Who are you with? Are you cheating on me? You better not be with another man. Why didn't you answer the phone? Susie thought, that's really weird. He's never been jealous over me before, so it must be a side effect of the spell. That's good because it means the spell is working. But when he arrived 2 days later, Jose's behavior was out of control. He grabbed her by her arm and started screaming, where were you? Who are you with? Why didn't you answer the phone? Then his whole mood changes. He apologizes to her. He says, I'm so sorry. I love you and the baby. I would never hurt you. Please, I want y'all to come live with me. When they get in the hotel room, Susie gives the baby a bath, and then she lays on the bed and starts playing with the baby, and then Jose looks over and says, You love that baby more than me, don't you? You spend too much time with him. You love him too much. You're going to choose him over me. When he gets older, you're going to marry him and be with him, aren't you? Susie said, no, what are you talking about? He's our baby. We created him. We should both love him the same. This man is losing it because of that spell. All he can think about is Susie cheating on him or leaving him. Jose picked the baby up and said, you have to choose now, either me or the baby. Susie said, why? He's our baby. He said, choose. She said, I'll always choose you over everyone. He said, then you won't mind me doing this. And then he opened the balcony sliding door, took the baby out and held him over the balcony. She said, no, wait, what are you doing? That's our baby. He said, but you can't love him and me, so we have to get rid of him. And then he dropped him. Before she could even grasp what was going on, Jose lunged at her, put his hands around her neck, and began choking her until she passed out. When Susie finally came to, she felt the cold wind blowing through her hair. She felt Jose's arms wrapped tightly around her, and that's when she heard him say, Susie, I love you, only you, forever. And then she realized they were falling from the hotel balcony.
I death cursed someone. And it worked. He passed away at exactly midnight. His name was Andrew. He was an untreated schizophrenic. His mother failed him. He's a mess baby. Because of his environment and the abuse he endured, he eventually became the abuser. He attempted to kidnap a child twice and harassed another. And I wouldn't have done much aside from banish him, if that is where it stopped. I don't go after anyone with death magic. I haven't done this in years. But he tried to break into my mom's apartment. And he was shit-talking me a lot. And so I asked my paradros to handle it. And now he's gone. And so is his girlfriend. And his mom, who was harassing the fuck out of me, has finally shut up. Thank God. May he find peace if that is what he is meant to do. And may he reincarnate if that is what he is meant to do. God help us, hope he's a better person next time. And may he go to some terrible hell dimension, if that is what he is meant to do. You know, sometimes those reincarnative cycles put you elsewhere. At least that's what I believe, you know, Hinduism and all that. Anyone can go up or down. You may not reincarnate on Earth, and you may not like where you reincarnate. So yeah. I'm not even sure how I feel about celebrating. I don't think I care. I am happy I do not have to worry about him anymore. I do not feel bad for his mother. This is her fault. This would have happened sooner or later. I just sped up the process. That's how death magic works. Just speeds up the process. And I wish this was avoidable. I told him to leave my family alone. And he did not take the warning. And other people have been like, other people have bothered your mom. Why didn't you do that to them? It wasn't justified. You have to do a whole lot more than be mean to someone to deserve a death curse, guys. You know what happens if you death curse someone and they don't deserve that? You're next. And here's the thing. I don't want to do this again. This was not a good thing. I am not happy with myself, but it was necessary and I'm relieved. Rest in peace, Andrew. Sorry, your life sucked. Didn't give you an excuse to be a bad person or a pedo, though. Did I mention you tried to break into my mom's apartment? God. Her next gift might be a Glock. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm actually on my way to see my mom right now. She's doing really well. You know, I canceled a few things because she had a cancer scare. It wasn't cancer. It wasn't anything harmful, actually. She's totally fine. Don't know how that happened. Something was wrong. No, it's not. I love having a parade dress, guys. They just get shit done fast. And that's the other thing about faith, though. And I think that's the note I'm going to leave this video on. I have faith everything is going to be okay because my spirits told me so and I believe them. That's the real cure to anxiety, guys. Everything will be okay because I made it that way. Good night.
Y'all better be careful who y'all lay next to because your life may just depend on it. Story time. Fortunately, this is not my story. This is my friend's story. And for the sake of this story, we're just going to call my friend Amanda. So me and Amanda met in real estate school. We were only there about 2 months and we developed like a real friendship. While being in real estate school, we go out, get food together, me, her, and 2 other girls. This particular day, we decide to go to this little pizza joint. Really, only Amanda wants food from this place, so we get her food. She comes out saying that she met this really cute guy, and it just so happened as we're getting ready to leave, he's walking out. So it was like love at first sight. We all are in the car kind of like, oh my God, you know, he even stepped with all of us in the car. So you know he meant business. You know, telling her how beautiful she is and how he wants to take her out. You know, shooting his shot, coming correct. So, of course, they exchanged numbers and the rest is history. For the sake of this story, we're going to call old dude Greg. So Greg is like a Spanish guy, probably about 6 feet tall, but he works and moves around a lot. The reason he was out here is because he has a son out here. So occasionally he comes back and forth from Louisiana to Georgia when he's not traveling for work. Y'all, things just start moving really fast with Greg and Amanda. Amanda had just got out of a relationship, and here we are thinking that, you know, God has sent her her knight in shining armor. Now, Greg is going all out for Amanda. I mean, taking her, basically flying her out to Louisiana, getting her all type of gifts, you know, spoiling her, treating her how a woman is supposed to be treated. Now, because of Greg's job, he always would get a room whenever Amanda would come to Louisiana to see him. I'm like the investigator friend. So any news that I'm told, I'm always gonna kind of do my research. I'm also the friend that you come to when you feel like you're tripping, and I give you confirmation that you're not. And I read cards, so let's just say I'm very intuitive. So me being me, Amanda is telling me everything that's going on. And of course, I'm rooting her on because what she came from versus the man that stepped in, it's like, okay, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And he doing a damn thing. But some of his stories and the things that she's telling me is not really making sense. So you make a lot of money, but yet y'all are starting to get serious. Fast forward to 6 months down the line, and he's still only getting rooms when you come and see him. That kind of raises a little red flag for me because it's like, do you have a house? Now, both Greg and Amanda are kind of in their 40s. So Amanda's naturally just going based off what he's telling her. One night, it was late at night, and he had to get up and go to work probably 2 or 3 hours. Amanda gets up, goes to the bathroom, but she feels like she's being watched. Now, if you from New Orleans, you from Louisiana, you already know kind of what get down out there. And her senses started kind of telling her like she's not alone. She feels like every move she makes is being calculated or accounted for. It's to the point where now she's spooked. She's paranoid. She can't sleep. All of a sudden, she starts to see shadows like dancing on the wall. And she knows at this point, she's not getting back up out the bed.
The time I went to the Woo Lady for a love spell, and here's what happened. Shout out to Jamilish for sending this story in. The woman in the story is my aunt, and this took place in Cuba. My aunt was in a very toxic relationship for 3 years, and many times she felt like she had to fight the women she found her man cheating on her with. She got tired of being embarrassed by him and feel like she wasn't good enough. She didn't want to lose her man, all she wanted was love and loyalty. So she decided to go to the Woo Lady that lived in town. The lady asked her to bring a picture of her man, and she told her that after the first, she's gonna have to do it by herself twice a month. For every, she needed an animal, and then to go deep in the woods and bury it. She noticed a change in her man, and she got everything she wanted and more. The time came for her to go find an animal and do what she had to do, but she really hated the whole process of it. So she thought maybe she could skip it once, everything would be okay. And as quick as she got what she wanted, you can only imagine what happened next. The relationship became toxic, abusive, and it was worse than it was before. She was very scared for her life, so she decided to go stay with some family. The problem was, the man knew where to find her, so when he got there, he got to banging on the door, throwing rocks, doing all types of things. He couldn't get in the house, but he wasn't going anywhere either. No matter what, nobody was allowed to step outside of the house until things calmed down. A couple of days went by, everything seemed to be fine, so they decided to go to the store and get a couple of things they needed. Of course, the man was watching them the whole time, so he followed them to the store. They ended up making eye contact, so the woman dropped her bags and she took off. Her family went to their home, but they weren't there. A couple of days went by and they were nowhere to be found. After some time, she was found unalive, deep in the woods. She was pregnant, so 2 souls.
I did a love spell on someone I was in love with and it worked. But what came after, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Nia. Nia said, I need to tell you something that I never thought I'd admit out loud. We're gonna call her crush Micah. His name was Micah, he had a girlfriend, but however, Nia didn't care. Nia said that she knew that Micah was supposed to be hers. Micah would smile at her sometimes, talk to her a little too long, and Nia thought maybe, just maybe, if she had a little help to help sway him from his girlfriend to her, she would be golden. Nia said that she knew what she felt for Micah was real. And in her eyes, Micah's girlfriend, we're gonna call her Rhea. To Nia, Rhea was just in the way. So Nia had heard about this woman in town that people were whispering about. They said that she could make things happen. So Nia went to the woman and told her that she wanted Micah to love her and only her. Now the woman looked at Nia long and hard before she said, and I quote, I can give you what you're asking for, but once it starts, you can't undo it. Nia said she didn't care, so she said yes because she wanted him. The woman gave her specific instructions on what to do. She needed a red candle, his photo, a little bit of honey, some personal ingredients, like personal item, a prayer over water at midnight, and some of her menstrual. Now Nia says she followed the instructions exactly to the T. She said, and let me tell you, it worked fast. Micah started texting her out of nowhere, and he started texting her more and more. He would find himself showing up where she was at, suddenly telling her that he couldn't stop thinking about her. He even said to her one day that he left his girlfriend, Rhea, out of the picture, gone. Nia said in that moment, hearing that this man done left his girlfriend Rhea for her, she said that to be honest, she felt powerful. She felt chosen until in one night, Micah shows up outside of Nia's house, crying, boohoo crying. And he just said to her out of nowhere, why did you do this to me? I can't eat, I can't think, I feel you even when you're not around. You tied my soul, I know you did something to me. Then out of nowhere, the man smiled. Now Nia says that this didn't look like his regular smile. It's like his face moved. There was something else inside of him entirely. That's when he leans in and says to her, why didn't you feed it? To be continued. Let me know if you're ready for what happens next, because things only got darker from here. I be telling y'all, do not do a love spell on that man. Make sure you leave a comment for part 2. Before I go my abducted humans, please make sure I'm holding down the #1 spot to be the Caribbean Music Awards award presenter. Now this is a chance for all of us spooky girly, all of y'all that see yourselves through me. This is our opportunity not only to experience something, but be a part of something really freaking cool. Make sure if you haven't already, you click the link in my bio and you vote for me. It is in my link tree. On top of my page, the link is right there. You can't miss it. After you vote for me, make sure you leave a comment saying that you're done. And if you want part 2, you better make sure I maintain that #1 spot from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
If you don't believe in black magic, curses, or love spells, this true creepy story might change the way you look at any new relationship forever. There's this girl who used to work at a storage facility. The rules were really strict. Only the person's name who was on the lease could access the unit. It did not matter if your family, friend, or even staff, if your name was not on the paperwork, you could not get into that unit. There was this one woman, and for years she kept turning up at the storage unit. The girl who worked at the storage unit, when she first saw this woman walk through the doors, she was shocked because of how beautiful she was. This beautiful woman, her name was Holly. She would go and specifically ask for this one unit which was leased under her ex-boyfriend's name. But because Holly's name was not on the paperwork of this specific unit, she would get turned away. What Holly did not know that her ex actually paid 5 years up front of storage, which basically is unheard of. Because of some data law, Holly was not allowed to know any information, how long the storage would be there for, how it was paid, any information. So she just kept coming back in the hopes that one day she'll be allowed to have access to this unit. This girl who worked at the storage unit, she was just dying to know what is in this storage that Holly wants so badly. So the next time Holly walked through that door, she decided to ask her, which Holly revealed to her she met her ex-boyfriend in a cafe she was working at, and he turned out to be a complete psycho. He would come into the cafe every single day, and Holly would just ignore him until one day she looked at him and she just fell deeply in love. All of a sudden, things then started to move very quickly, but Holly's friends and family did not like this guy at all. And one day she woke up and just snapped out of it, and all of a sudden she realized, actually, I don't like this guy. I don't even love this guy anymore. And she tried to tell him, he went mad. Holly then leaves her ex and gets a job, which, by the way, she has not worked for the past 3 years because her ex-boyfriend would not let her get a job because he did not want her to be around any other males. Her new job, when she used to go home for work, she used to feel like somebody is watching her. She just kept having this gut feeling like somebody was following her, so she told a male colleague, and he offered to walk her home one day to make sure that she's safe, but also because he just lives around the corner from her house anyway. During that walk on the way back to Holly's house, somebody jumped out and attacked them so badly, her male colleague's nose was nearly bitten clean off. Holly's always had this gut feeling that it was actually her ex who jumped them. Holly also mentioned to the staff that when she broke up with her ex-boyfriend, he got all her stuff and locked it away in this storage unit. They were not even allowed to tell her how long it was locked away in there for. So she kept coming back for years. Every time Holly then pops in, it looks like she's lost 10 years of her life. She's lost so much weight, she's lost so much hair, she's skinny, she's pale, she's scrawny. But one day she comes in being pushed in a wheelchair by her brother. All the staff are shocked. When they first met Holly, they literally described her as Megan Fox, and now she's crippling away. So the staff just assume she has some sort of terminal illness. So when Holly came in a wheelchair, she never came back. But the staff were like, oh my God, because she only had a couple of months left on this unit till she can go in and get all her stuff. Time runs out and they can finally open the unit, and the staff and the boss are just dying to see what was in this unit this whole time. Voodoo dolls, clumps of Holly's hair, which he probably stole when she was sleeping, spells written out, dried up dead animals, found love spells, spells for mysterious diseases. Everything that had happened to Holly was there. The guy who owns the facility was like, this is weird, we need to get rid of it, we need to chuck it, we need to burn it. So he facilitates that. 2 weeks later, he dies of pneumonia. Maybe Holly didn't just look at this guy one day and madly fall in love with him like she found her soulmate. He did a spell on her, and when that spell ran out and she no longer loved him, and when she snapped out of it, this was her fate.
Imagine doing a love spell on somebody and then it all comes back to destroy you. You see my face, so you know I'm back with another spooky story. Someone submitted this story and told me it was about their cousin. We're gonna call her cousin Linda. So Linda met this guy, we're gonna call him Dodo, at work. Linda went from literally barely caring about being at work until Dodo joined the team. Dodo would bring this sense of excitement to work, where Linda was just looking forward to going to work because at least Dodo was gonna be there. So Linda and Dodo would go on to build this friendship. and they were inseparable. They spent a lot of times together at work and outside of work. So Linda really got to know the ins and outs of Dodo. And when they would spend all these times together, it would get late. And sometimes Linda just wouldn't feel safe to like go home, so she would just stay the night. So while getting to know him, Linda admitted to having feelings for Dodo. But no one knew if Dodo felt the same because Linda decided to not disclose that information. And of course, knowing the ins and outs, she knew that Dodo already had a couple of options anyway. But according to Dodo, those women were just sexual relationships. Fast forward one day, Dodo's grandfather unfortunately abruptly passes away. And to help Dodo get his mind off of things, Linda being the best friend that she was, so to take his mind off things, they decided to go out to a bar. They got drunk and came back home. While they were home and Linda was consoling him, one thing led to another and they did the boom boom boom. Now, Linda. Anyway, so the next day they woke up, they didn't really talk about it. Linda proceeded on being there for Dodo throughout his entire grief period. And throughout the period of him grieving, they did not hook up again. However, Linda's feelings grew. One day, Linda finally said, you know what, I'm done hiding these feelings. So she confesses her feelings to Dodo. And Dodo actually felt the same. Dodo actually admitted to being in love with her and he was just scared of ruining their friendship. So they would go on and have like this flirty-esque friendship. They were basically best friends by day and doing the boom boom boom, making the bed rock by night. Everything was great until Linda was like, when are we gonna be together? We've been doing this cute bestie cat and mouse type of game for a while now, like what's tea? And every single time that conversation would come up, it seems like there was always a blockage on his end. Linda was ready to be a girlfriend. Shit, Linda was ready to be a wife today. But there was a blockage for him. So Linda thought since her family is already privy with voodoo, she might as well exercise what she actually knows and just basically give him a little kick to make him see her as, a potential mate. So she did what any reasonable person would do and fed him a voodoo pasta. And that was just step one. Because she likes to go big or go home, she admitted to also giving him a potion. And the man was head over heels. He was so head over heels that he forgot about everybody in his life. That is until his family got involved. His family, knowing that something wasn't right, got involved and decided that they were going to bust him out of this relationship. So one day they got him. All that Linda knew was that she came home one day and that this man disappeared for months. And she had no idea what happened to him or even where to find him. Until one day, being the desperate girl that she is, when suddenly in storms an angry Dodo. To backtrack, when Dodo's family got him, they uncovered the truth about what his girlfriend was doing to him. They took him out of whatever she put him under. When he came back to realize, as much as he tried to ignore the urge, he just had to see her. So he would storm to her house, kick her door down, notices that she was sitting right there, Linda being excited that he came back, but also automatically noticing that his demeanor was different. He beat Linda so bad that Linda suffered such serious surgeries. She has lost all her teeth, dislocated her jaw, broke a few of her limbs, and he attempted to set her house on fire. She escaped by literally just a hair. One of her neighbors heard the screaming, saw Dodo running out of that house, and ran inside to her rescue. Till this day, she has chronic pain and she is still suffering the consequences of that love spell. That was a submission from Jackmail IT. Maybe hold out before you do that love spell. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this story time, and even more of a thank you for 100,000 followers. If you ever doubt anything, just know, come here. I love you, my abducted humans. And I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm on my YouTube Zoom. I have so many stories that are longer than these posted on YouTube, so you better go check them out. I've officially reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you weren't one of the original 10Ks and you've been watching me all this time, I hope you're ashamed. But it's okay, because it's never too late to join the train. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Like, literally, the link is in my bio. What are you doing? Please? All right, au revoir.
Story time about how a warlock did witchcraft on me and had me bound to him for 3 years. I couldn't move on. And it ruined my life, and the spell that he did almost killed me. Like to hear it? Here it goes. So I woke up the other morning and God just kept saying, tell your story. I didn't tell this story for a long time because, one, I was very scared because I didn't know, and two, it's crazy. And it's like, I didn't want the backlash because I'm like, I don't even know that this is not real. It's no way. I didn't even know it was a spell. I didn't know what was going on. Of course, now being on social media more and seeing that so many people are experiencing it, it's really like, okay, but people are experiencing it and they still don't know what's going on. They just are experiencing these the effects of it, but not knowing what's really happening. So I'm gonna break it down to you. I'm no longer scared. Maybe I am a little, but I know God got me because he gave me the go ahead to tell this story. So here it goes. Also, this is a disclaimer that this is over a 3-year thing. So these will be a lot of parts. I never do videos like this, but this is something that I feel like is very informative and it will really help people understand. And then I will also tell you how I broke it. So here we go. Back in 2021, I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I met this guy at this job that I worked at. Now, when I first saw him, before I initially met him, I remember thinking like, that dude looks dark. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, you know, but he was cleaning the floor. So I didn't even pay him any attention. But I just remember thinking that it was in my peripheral that I saw that energy. And then I looked at him and I was like, ooh, what's up with that dude? So fast forward to like maybe like a month later, I'm at the job and I didn't work a lot of mornings. So I didn't really see this dude, but that time. So about a month later, I am in the kitchen and I worked like a whole shift and I didn't even see him. I didn't even think I saw him. I didn't know, you know what I mean? So you probably don't know, but you'll see. So I just started listening to jazz music at this time. So I heard somebody was playing towards the end of the night. Somebody was playing jazz music. And so I'm looking around in that kitchen because in this kitchen, there ain't nobody in there that I would think that would be playing some jazz music, first off. Because I'm like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? So he like, his voice, like, bro, I used to, like, when I first heard his voice, I was like, ooh, who was that? To the point where I didn't even put the two together. I didn't even realize that the dude that I first saw was this dude, total night and day. Crazy. So, so I think that night, like, I kind of was just like, we talked a little bit and I wasn't looking for anything because I was kind of still talking to someone, kind of. So I didn't really like move forward with this guy, but we talked, you know what I mean? A little bit. He like followed me into the room, thought I was a stripper, really crazy. And because I still wear rhinestones like all on my face. I've been the rhinestone girly like since forever. So I used to wear rhinestones. On my face, and I still, like I said, I still do so. And so he thought I was a stripper, and so we just had a little casual conversation. And I remember like not really even liking this guy like that. And mind you, I still was kind of wrapped up with this dude. Like, we were towards the end, but I'm still, you know, wrapped up. So I didn't give this guy no time of day. Too much time of day. So we went into, like, later on that night, we were both leaving around the same time. He kind of waited around for me. So we get into his car. We're like talking, and we finally get into his car, which now I realize why we got into his car, because he didn't want to be seen. So, and I remember, like, he pulled up his shirt. Let me tell you something. This baby was the finest dude I ever seen in my whole entire life. He was fine to me. Like, I mean, even then, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to. Even then, like, he was fine. He pulled his shirt up 6, 8, 9, 12 pack. Fine. That's how I feel like if you would have rubbed something, it would have been like crazy. So freaking, I was just like, oh! Now, I'm dating a trainer, but Shorty don't look like that. You know what I'm saying? Shorty ain't look like that. So I'm like, oh man. But I also didn't know that at this time I had discernment. So I remember we're talking, and I'm like, you probably still with your baby mama, aren't you? Because he's telling me about his kids and all that stuff. And I'm like, you probably still with your baby mama, aren't you? He's like, nah. So I'm like, all right, mind you, I've never been with anybody with kids. Let me see if I'm lying. No, I've never been with anybody with kids. I never talked to anybody with kids. I didn't know the baby mama drama. I didn't know none of that. So time goes on after that. We kind of go our separate ways. I go home wherever he does. So he's calling a lot around this time. Mind you, I'm still talking to Slim. We're not in a relationship, but we're still talking, and I don't do all that double and all that. I don't do all of that. But we're dating. It's nothing like crazy. It's not, but we were dating. At this time, we're ending everything, but it's still, it's still all that drama. He was very toxic. We were toxic together. I will say that. So this guy, we're gonna, matter of fact, let's give these people names. So the dude at the job his name, let's call him, I don't want to be too close, so let's call him Richard. And the dude that I was talking to, let's call him Skeeter. Okay? So the dude I was talking to is Skeeter. The one that I just met is Richard. So, dang, my son is leaving. Is that a sign? So, Richard's constantly calling me. I'm not really entertaining it until finally me and Skeeter break up officially. Or stop talking officially. We're done. I'm done with all of that. So I call I call Richard, and I'm like, I just had all this happen because Skeeter, attacked me. Well, he tried to. And I'm sitting here so I called Richard, and I'm like, he just attacked me, and we was just fighting and all that, and I'm just upset, and I ended up calling him. He comes over, brings me a Caesar salad, brings me some food, brings me some candy, all this stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, Skeeter's so cute. I'm sorry, Richard's so cute. So Richard, we're he's in the house and we're talking all that stuff. Mind you, still, I don't like him like that, but he's constant. He's so persistent. Now, he's fine, but I just stopped talking to somebody, so I'm I'm not interested. Interested? Oh my gosh. It's interested? It's interested. Why are people saying interested? So, I'm not really interested, and, but he's persistent. So, I'm gonna go to do a part 2.
I did my hair today. Because you can't let anybody play in your hair. My grandma used to tell me, when you get finished combing your hair, pick that hair up and put it in your pocket. You don't want nothing done to your head. Story time. Now this story is about a girl named Trinity out in Boston. Trinity is dating this guy named Derek, and they've been dating for about 6 months, and they are really feeling each other. Now, Derek really likes Trinity, but he likes Trinity for the wrong reason. He likes Trinity because Trinity is extremely beautiful. Her mother is Korean, and her father is from Barbados. And Trinity had this long, beautiful hair. She had these beautiful almond eyes. Her complexion was beautiful, and he just was smitten by her beauty. Trinity was feeling Derek too, but she noticed sometimes there was spells where Derek would just disappear for a couple of days. She wouldn't hear from him. But she just chalked it up to him being busy because of his business, and she just enjoyed what she had with him and just wanted to see where the future went. So Trinity had this event May of 2024, and she really wanted to look good for this event because this was an event that could possibly push her career into higher fields. So Trinity was looking for a hairstylist to do this specific style that really nobody around her neighborhood could do. So she reached out to a homegirl who's always getting her hair done to find a stylist for this specific style, and she put her on to this girl named Lisa. Lisa is in another town, uptown part of Boston, so she had to drive maybe 30 minutes to get to her, but she didn't care because she really wanted this hairstyle. So the homegirl contacted Lisa, the stylist, and said, hey, I have a girl named Trinity. She has really beautiful hair. You're going to have fun with this style. She really needs a stylist for this specific style. She's going to book you on her website, but be looking for this phone number so you know that's my friend so you can really take care of her. So the stylist Lisa is cool, I'll hook her up. You know how I get down. Just send her info and I'll be on the lookout for her booking. Well, as soon as she get the information from Trinity and get the phone number, she instantly recognizes the phone number. You see, Derek be pulling disappearing acts because he's been in a relationship with Lisa for 6 years and they have 2 kids together. So because Derek is cheating, of course, he starts getting distant, hiding his phone, giving her a reason to search through the phone. And Lisa had noticed that this specific number was texting, calling, and was connected to the Cash App of Derek's phone. Now the young lady who has been sleeping with Derek is finna sit in her chair and get her hair done. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So Trinity gets to her chair and Lisa is extremely nice to her. Lisa is chopping it up with Trinity the whole appointment and just hooks her hair up exactly how Trinity wants it. Trinity loves it. But one thing Lisa mentioned to Trinity, she said, "You have an extremely dry scalp. You need to use some of my oil. It's a treatment that's going to help with your dry scalp." So Trinity, knowing that she does have a dry scalp, she's like, "Yes, do what you need to do. You're the stylist." Lisa also tells Trinity, "Make sure you come back in 3 weeks so I can retreat your hair with my oil treatment so that scalp can be hydrated." So Trinity thinks nothing of it. She even tips her because she really, really likes her hair. And she goes on about her way, and her event is a success. About 4 months into that oil treatment, Trinity started to notice that she was getting blotches on her face that kept getting bigger and bigger. Trinity had lost a significant amount of weight. She was depressed, and her and Derek was having so many problems. Trinity kept going back and forth to the doctor, but they couldn't tell her what was wrong with her. Trinity's health started to fade so bad that her mind started to play tricks on her. At this point, Derek, he couldn't really deal with the illness, but he would come by and check on her. So things with Trinity started to get so bad that she thought it was best that she moved back home with her mom because she started to get scared. Soon as Trinity went home with her mom started praying over her. She started going to church, and it just fell off of her. Her health started to get better. Her skin started to clear. You know, she had sound judgment. Her mindset was getting better. She was getting back to herself. So getting back to herself, she decides to get her hair done again. And she loved the way the young lady was doing her hair, Lisa. So she goes back and get her hair done again. But the whole ride going to go get her hair done, her stomach was in knots, like her heart was palpitating, like she was nervous, like she felt like something was going to happen. And as soon as she gets to Lisa's shop, her stomach and her heart started racing and her stomach started doing backflips. And she couldn't understand it. She's like, "I'm just going to get my hair done." I'm sorry, y'all. I had to get back in the car. It was way too noisy out there. Lisa's sitting there like, this girl ain't learned her lesson yet, but I'm going to fix her. So she starts putting her special oil in Trinity's hair. The grit that's in it that she said was herbs, graveyard dirt. The tingly feeling she gets on her scalp, the juice from a really, really hot pepper. That foul smell she be smelling, dog poop mixed with sulfur 8. And every piece of Lisa's negative energy was put in that oil. And this time, for a little razzle-dazzle, Lisa put something in that oil that will make her hair fall out, because Lisa was extremely jealous of Trinity's hair from the beginning. But as soon as Lisa opened that bottle, Trinity knew something was up. Trinity like, "Nah, I'm gonna skip the oil treatment today. I just wanna go ahead and get the style." This instantly pisses Lisa off. But Lisa keeps her cool, and she figures out a way to slide some of that oil in Trinity's hair. Now, mind you, while all of this was going on, Derek and Trinity had broke up. But Lisa hadn't let it go. In Lisa's mind, she felt that Trinity's beauty and her hair and just Trinity alone could come back and take Derek anytime she wanted. And that didn't sit right with her. So one day Derek is using Lisa's laptop and he sees a file up there that's called evidence. And he's trying to figure out, like, what's evidence? I know she don't know about, that situation. Let me see what this is. The file, evidence, had everything that Derek and Trinity did that she had found out about, and her whole plan, step by step, how to destroy Trinity with her spell work using the oil. So finding this out, he immediately calls Trinity. He like, look, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. He tells her all about, him being in a relationship, him having a family. But at this point, he is scared of Lisa because he didn't know that she had that ability to do that, and it frightened him. At first, Trinity didn't believe him, but the more she listened to him, the more everything made sense. Ever since Lisa had started doing her hair, her whole life, health, career has spiraled. And when she stopped getting her hair done by Lisa is when things started to get better. Trinity got the recipe and put Lisa as in a doomsday jar. And she said everything that Lisa did to her should come back times 10. She got rid of the doomsday jar, buried it, did a cleansing, spiritual bath for about 7 days, and waited. At first, it didn't seem like nothing would happen. 2 years went by. At that point, Trinity had forgot about it. Until one day she was scrolling Facebook, and everybody was talking about rest in peace, Derek. Child, Derek and Lisa's house had caught on fire. Derek died instantly. Lisa suffered from third-degree burns all over her body, and Lisa was completely bald, confined to a wheelchair, always in pain. You got to be careful with the work you put out, because when you put it out, they got the right to do it times 10 back to you.
Story time. Be careful with love spells. This is the story of my most powerful love spell. One time, years ago, a very attractive man not only rejected me, but told me that he was interested in someone else. So I performed a very, very powerful love spell. And literally 7 days later, he looked at me with tears in his eyes, told me that he loved me, and gave me his most prized possession, his late father's shirt. Be very careful with love spells, because they can work. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to tell y'all the story about my homegirl that ended up losing her life doing black magic, love spells, and like death spells on her past relationships. And y'all, this is a sad story, so bear with me when I tell y'all this, okay? This was about 2 or 3 years ago in Pine Bluff, and I'm not gonna say her name, y'all. We just gonna make up a name. We gonna say Keisha, okay? So Keisha was dealing with these dudes or whatever. She fell in love with these dudes, and these dudes eventually broke her heart later on down the line. So it wasn't really like true love, because in the beginning, Keisha had put a love spell on both of the dudes. Now, this was separate times. Like, one broke her heart. She put the love spell on him or whatever. Then she fell out of love with him. She didn't want him no more. But it got to the point where he had started stalking her and stuff. So she eventually moved on. He eventually moved on, as if, he wasn't under the love spell no more. So then she met this other dude named Twan. Oh, I said his real name. But anyways, she met this dude named Twan. Her and Twan started kicking it or whatever. Then Twan started like dibbing and dabbing with her and his baby mama. So Keisha puts a love spell on Twan. She puts the love spell on Twan or whatever. Twan acting just like her first boyfriend or whatever that she put a love spell on. He started acting crazy, popping up at her house, doing all type of weird shit. Like, he would be up under this girl's car when she go to start her car in the morning. And he would pop out like, girl, I missed you, this, that, and the third. And she like, where the fuck you come from? You know what I'm saying? She thought it was cute. She thought that it was him showing his love for her, whatever, you know what I'm saying, trying to get their relationship back. So, but then she knew how strong her love spell was, you know, on him or whatever. So she didn't pay it no mind or whatever. So she goes on about her day. He comes to her job on her lunch break or whatever and bring her some food. He like, man, I just want to see you or whatever. I've been thinking about you all day, this, that, and the third. So she thank him or whatever. She like, damn, in her head, she thinking her love spell working or whatever. She gave him by the balls, this, that, and the third. So the relationship go on or whatever. He steady popping up, you know, everywhere she go, as if he had a tracker on her car, y'all. Excuse me. So, it's this one time she had went to this event with her family and her friends, and he was at the event, y'all, the whole time, and she didn't know that he was at the event until one of the family members told her, like, why you ain't over there with your man or whatever. And they was like, what you talking about? He ain't here. And they were like, yes he is, he over there or whatever. He was in a whole nother cabin, you know, like 2 cabins away from her, because they had went to Hot Springs or whatever to go to this little cabin resort or whatever, you know, for like just a getaway or whatever. So she was like, no, he ain't here or whatever. She goes to the cabin, knocks on the door, y'all. He at the fucking cabin. He was like, I just want to see you. I ain't want to be away from you, this, that, and third. So she was telling him, like, this is weird. Like, how the fuck did you even come up here? How did you even know I was up here or whatever? He had been rambling through the girl's house every time she would go to work. He would ramble through her house or whatever, ramble through her car. He had access to all her shit, had a key to her car, had a key to her apartment, all this shit. So at this point, she like, damn, you know what I'm saying, you on some weird shit, because her first boyfriend, she put the love spell on him. Yeah, he was acting crazy, but it never got to the point where he was just showing up everywhere she was at. So she was kind of scared or whatever. So she sat down with him and talked to him and told him, you know what I'm saying, like, I feel like me and you, we need space. He was like, space? He was like, I ain't finna give you no space, like, you mine, you know what I'm saying, you belong to me. So she was like, belong to you? I don't belong to you. Like, you is my man, but I don't belong to you or whatever. He was like, bitch, you belong to me. So at this point, he getting aggressive because she trying to call it out. She trying to break up with him, and he ain't fucking with it. So, y'all, when she was trying to call it off with him or whatever, it made him like real aggressive towards her. He started getting to the point where he was like verbally abusing her. Then he started physically abusing her. So then she kept her distance away from him or whatever. She ended up staying at a family member house that he don't know nothing about. So she was over there or whatever, and he couldn't reach her. He called her phone or whatever. She eventually blocked his number, y'all, and that pissed his ass off. So he riding around or whatever. He know how her car look. He riding around. He threatening the other family members, asking them where she at. He threatening, talking about he gonna kill them if they don't tell him where she at and all this other stuff. One of the family members ended up giving her up because he had got to the point where he was threatening the lady, and he ended up putting his hands on the lady. So he beat the lady so bad, which was her auntie. He beat the lady so bad that she eventually was like, okay, she has such and such house over there on such and such street or whatever. So he goes over there, and she looking shocked, like, she just like, what the fuck? How did you find out where I was at? Who told you that I was over here or whatever? And he was like, bitch, don't worry about that. So then he jumped on Keisha, y'all. He jumped on Keisha so bad that he put her in the hospital. She was in the hospital for like 2 or 3 days or whatever. So when she got out the hospital, she was like, I gotta get this man away from me. Like, I gotta do something. Like, this man, you know what I'm saying, he is going crazy or whatever. So the mama was asking Keisha, like, Keisha, what did you do to him? Like, why is he acting like this? Why is he following you like this or whatever? Keisha tell her mama, like, mama, I put a love spell on him, but I didn't think that he was going to, you know, take it this far or whatever. I didn't think it was going to go to, you know, the extreme or whatever. So her mama was mad. Her mama like, Keisha, you can't be doing that shit. You can't be doing that. That stuff is real or whatever. So Keisha crying. She already knowing that it's a possible chance this man can unalive her. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep that the love spell, like that love spell shit can get deep. For real, for real. So her mama was like, oh, well, you need to do something. You need to, take the little spell off of him, or what can you do? Or you need to get like a order of protection away from him. Hold on.
And it was an interesting story. So she had a baby father, and her baby father was outside, like outside.
As they do.
And she was tired of him being outside. So someone was like, just write his name on a piece of paper, put it in water in a jar. No, put the piece of paper in a jar and fill it with water. And obviously close the jar and then hide it somewhere in the house. And it'll keep him at home. And then she was like, okay, cool, did it now. And then he committed a crime and then ended up being on house arrest. So he had to be at home. So now it was like, it went the other way.
When you send a message, I like, this is what you got.
Don't
when
play.
You say,
This is why you don't play.
Please, man. When you order chicken, you don't specify which one on the menu. Please.
So now she was like, oh my God, he was at home. This was the best we ever had in a relationship.
Because it was on house arrest. Imagine your baby father had to commit a crime and literally be told by law enforcement that if you step outside 25 to life straight.
She did it now. Cool. She was like, this was the best time. I've never been like this. Like, I can't believe it. Cool. Then, so obviously he's at home and this jar is underneath somewhere hidden.
Yeah.
So one day he's at home just obviously not doing anything. So he must be moving things around, found a jar. So he's like, so he's called her. He's like, what's my name doing in this jar?
Hey, God, now you know your
witch. So obviously now she's like, oh, it's nothing. He's like, take my name out that jar. And she was like, you do it. He was like, I'm not touching this. You come and empty this jar and take my name out the jar. After that, apparently that something happened. There was a blip with like, court documents, whatever have you. And so he got released from house arrest. And then everything went bad. He was outside like he'd never been outside before.
Outside you know how you would be with the burgers when you finally have a car. Just everywhere.
He ran out ready. And so she was like, listen, do not play because me and that man to this day do not get on.
Casting spells gone wrong. Practicing and working spells that go wrong. Y'all have to be careful which books you pick up and read, which spell books. Some of these spell books have your life twisted, turned, and completely fucked up. I'm going to give y'all a story time about someone that I know very closely that wanted to start practicing magic. Now, of course, I offered to help them, to teach them, to guide them. But they were kind of, big-headed and just wanted to learn on their own. So I threw my hands up and said, okay, go ahead, go for it. It's very interesting. It's fascinating. So, of course, I practice voodoo. And they said, well, I don't think I want to practice voodoo. I think I'd rather do hoodoo. So I say, okay, sounds great. Go ahead and start your studying and let me know what you learn. So they start studying hoodoo and they're doing all these spells. And I said, where'd you learn these spells? Where'd you find these spells? They said, oh, I found a book online. This book is interesting, girl. This shit is good in here. This shit works. I said, oh, okay. That's what's up. So time goes on and they're practicing these spells. They're working these spells they found. So I noticed this person starts like losing everything in their life. Like they lost their job. It started with them losing their job. And then after that, I noticed, they lost their apartment. And then they lost their husband. Their husband and them had broken up. And he was cheating around and doing different things. And one day I talked to him. I said, look, I don't know. Something ain't right. You done lost 3 things. You about to lose your car? Are you sure these spells that you working are right? I said, you got to be careful what books you read. Tell me what you did. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to do a reading for you. So we got on the phone. I'm doing the reading. And the spirits are telling me it's something that that this person's doing with the spirit that's causing all these things to happen. So they're literally causing all these things. The loss of the job, they caused it. The loss of the car, they caused it. The battle or the fight between the husband, that caused it. I said, tell me what you doing in these spells. Tell me what this spell book is telling you to do. She said, well, the spell book told me to get an orange, slice it in half, pour honey in it, write a handwritten letter, stick it in the orange, put some cinnamon on it, close it back up, and then pray over it and wish all the bad things in my life would go away. Everything bad would just go away. So I did it, she said, and I took it and I threw it out of my front door, and I threw it out. And when I threw it out, I threw away all my problems, and I threw away everything that was in my way in my life. I said, oh. Okay, I'm sorry. So, I said, well, you gotta look at it like this. You know, ever since you did that spell, you done lost your job because they accused you of stealing. You done lost your place to live. You about to lose your car and you lost your husband. I said, you need to get rid of that damn book. Quit reading that damn book. All spells are not created equal. All spells are not great spells. Some people just write books and put things together, and it doesn't always work. It doesn't always add up for you to be able to manifest change in your life with it. And another thing, when somebody gives you a spell or a recipe, make sure you follow instructions 1000%. Don't leave out anything. Don't put anything extra in until you practice that spell a long, long time. However, it does take practice. It takes practice, trial, and error to perfect your spell work. Right now, I don't read any type of spell books. Nothing like that. When I first started practicing, I used to read many different spell books. Right now, all I do is I put my spell work together according to what Spirit has revealed to me. My spirits give me all my spell work. Every spell that I do now comes from my spirits that I work with. Those are the secrets that they've given me, and that's why I don't share those. However, I do share some spell work with the students that take my class. Some things, that I can share, I share with them. But, I used to teach this young man spell work and magic. And he's like a student, right? So he was manifesting the silliest shit. He manifests getting free weed and free things and free this and free that. And so I noticed, I said, you getting all this shit. I said, how much you pay for that? Nothing, it was free. How much you pay for that? Nothing, they just gave it to me. My friend gave me $1,000 last week. I said, okay. Now, I said, how much you pay for this? They gave it to me. I said, dude, quit using spell work to get free shit everywhere you go. Quit doing spell work for people to just give you shit everywhere you go. And he said, well, and that shit was funny. You can use spell work for a lot of different things. And the way I choose my students is I don't want to give it to somebody who's just going to go out and hurt a bunch of people. Now, getting shit for free, that doesn't hurt many people. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's just basically, increases the generosity of the people that you deal with. For me, I feel like that's pretty much harmless. But yeah, that's just a crazy spell work story time. Y'all, all of these spells that y'all read in these books online, some of the spells that you get, especially online from just like different random people that haven't been practicing for a very long time, be careful trying this work. Because I've heard a lot of these people give you spells and I'm listening to it like, I don't think that's the right way you put that together. Well, I don't really think that's going to work. But that whole orange with the honey and the cinnamon and throwing it out and then losing every fucking thing. I mean, I hate to laugh at it because we all have fucked up. somewhere along the line doing our own spell work. All of us have made mistakes and hit the wrong target, or shit just bounced back to hit us. All of us have made mistakes in our spirituality journeys. But I'm just telling you guys, be very careful and aware of whose advice you take doing spell work. It's all trial and error. After all, magic is wonderful. It's exciting. It's adventurous, but it can also be fearful. It can also be scary. So I hope you guys have a wonderful time out there practicing magic. All my witchy guys and gals, have a wonderful day.
Update. Check in. So yesterday I took the night off from my midnight job, and I only did that because I wanted to go to my niece's graduation, right? Now my niece, she lives about 2-3 hours away from me, so of course I needed to take that night off because who finna drive back 3 hours just to come to work? So it ended up where I wasn't able to make it to my baby's graduation. And this is my only little snook. But I requested that night off, right? So when I spoke to, Karen, my boss, we'll call her that, she told me that I was not able to come in last night because she was like, I already did the schedule. I don't know nobody that wouldn't want they work, employee to come in if they had requests. It was a request. I requested. It wasn't like you had me off for that day. That was the day I was supposed to work. So, of course, I didn't go in last night. I enjoyed my day off, and I went to bed early. Tell me why I received a call from her at about 7:34 p.m. and she left a voicemail. Now, baby, you already told me not to come to work. You done told me enjoy my night. The schedule's already done. So, I thought you have to go to your niece's graduation. I said, yeah, but I'm not going to be able to make it. It's at like 9 in the morning. I don't get off from here until 6 in the morning. There's no way I'm going to be able to get off and drive 3 to 4 hours to go see my baby graduate. And still, it is what it is. I can come to work. Well, her reply was, enjoy your day off. The schedule's already done, and that'll put you at such and such amount of overtime. Why do it matter how much overtime I had, baby? You was doing like 70 some hours a week. Now, I told y'all I ended up putting her in the freezer, right? She called me at 7 o'clock at night on the night she told me not to come because now she told me her blood pressure is dangerously high and she wasn't able to come in this morning. So who do you think she called? Me. She wanted me to come in for my midnight shift last night that she told me not to come to enjoy my night because that would have gave me too much overtime. So she didn't come to work today. So not only was it like, you know what I'm saying, the whole like shaking and shit, and then you talking about you couldn't smell, taste, and it went from that to next thing you know, you talking about your blood pressure is dangerously high and you cannot return to work right now. But you called me to come in for a shift that you already told me. Don't worry about it. The schedule already done. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know the freezer spell was going to do all that. I did not know. And like I said, I do not wish harm on nobody. So, with that being said, my ancestors, they didn't took it a whole nother route. I guess they said, well, we going to make it so that she don't come back to work. Now, I don't want no hurt, harm, or danger to come to anybody. So, like I said, please be advised. Do not do the freezer spell. Don't put nobody in a damn freezer if this is not something you really want. Okay? Now, call me what you want, but you can't call me no evil person. You cannot call me I'm not a devil worshiper. I did not do it with any ill intent. I didn't know it was going to go from her, being sick to, taking a week off to then she came to work the next day and then she was shaking and she looked like a corpse. I'm just going to be 100. She did not look good at all. And I did genuinely care. I genuinely checked on her. And when she called me last night, I just knew I knew it. I told you to let me come into work. I said, why can't I just come in for my shift if I requested it off? I'm rescinding my request. I want to rescind it. Oh, that'll give you too much overtime and the schedule's already done. But you called me at 7 o'clock at night because you need me. Now you need me. So I didn't get to talk to her till this morning because now it was just wrecking my brain of why are you contacting me on my day off and at 7:35 at night. And when she told me that, she sounded really bad. She was like, my doctor said I can't do anything work related right now. My blood pressure is dangerously high. Baby, when I tell you I hung that phone up, I was like, I said, Lord, I didn't know all this was going to happen. But fear not of evildoers, for they shall soon be cut down like the withering grass. You see, you got to understand, what you put out is what you get. I didn't do this with any illness or hate in my heart. I did this because I simply was just crying out like, Lord, please help me. You see me trying, and I'm already having a hard time working 2 jobs, raising 2 children, and still trying to keep my sanity. God, I need you to protect me from the elements. I need you to protect me from my enemies, seen and unseen, known and unknown. And I guess he just, said, well, we gon' she ain't coming to work for a while. Put it that way. So freeze the spell, yes, it works. It works. It works. It works. Especially when you believe, especially when it's coming from the heart, baby, when I tell you. And then it's crazy because when I did it, the same day as I did it, I started my cycle. And a tear or 2 fell into the glass. I sealed it with the tear. And I was on my cycle. And I read Psalms 91. And I cried out to God. And I cried out to my ancestors. Only the ones that mean me well. Only the ones that mean me well and have good intentions for me in my lineage. And it worked. So I won't be dealing with her for a while. But I will say this. God, I don't want anything bad to happen to Karen. We'll call her Karen. I don't wish sickness or illness on anyone. I don't wish that on nobody. That's my heart not set up like that. I just wanted to put her on pause for a minute. I didn't know all this was gonna happen. Comment down below if y'all have any questions. But most importantly, if you really, really want to know what I did, comment down below. I'll let you know what I did. Word from word, step to step on how I did the freezer spell. Don't use this if you're not serious. Don't do this. This stuff is real.
One of the craziest stories I have is when I first started getting into witchcraft. I kind of dabbled in like hexes, that kind of area. I don't anymore because I've learned my lesson that if it backfires, man. Okay. But when I was doing them, I had this friend who's also a witch, and she went through something really awful with a coworker of hers. And I really don't hex people unless they are the worst of humanity. So I won't hex an ex. I won't hex someone who made me mad that day. I don't hex anymore. But that's beside the point. This person's a very, very, very awful person. And we decided to do a hex. And we got it all set up. We did it. It was real intense. And then we go to bed. And it was weird because we left the door to her bedroom like open, which I don't know why we did that, but it was creaked open a little bit. Anyways, I was asleep. My friend was not. She reaches over to grab something and knocks it off. I apparently sit up in bed and just start muttering. Apparently we had a conversation. I don't remember that at all. And I don't sleep talk. So that's very not normal behavior for me. In the middle of the night, the door to her bedroom slammed shut. I was asleep. My friend woke up for it. Just slammed shut in the middle of the night. The next day that she has a shift with this person, he gets fired. Witchcraft? She's crazy. I have so many more stories like that. It's actually crazy. It's the best.
So, me and these girls would always fall out because it got to a point where as soon as I say no to something, they'll get mad, turn on me, start trying to throw hexes and curses, everything like that. So anyways, after that, I don't know how it happened. But like people started really calling me the goddess of love because I was like gangster at love spells. Like if I did a love spell, on a man for a client or something, he gonna go. Okay, he's gonna fall for her. He's gonna, so I started doing a lot of love work. I was doing baneful magic, like breakup work, hex work, curses, for people. They would pay me to do it. Like, I used to be one of those, like, for hire witches, you know what I'm saying? That'll make some shit shake. Like, if you wanted that nigga to be turned into a roach by Saturday, he was gonna be turned into a roach, okay? So I'm doing work for all these different people. Like, it was to the point where I had clients. Like, I had people that would come back to me over and over again because they knew my magic works, and like anything that, I put my mind on would come to fruition. Okay. So after that happened, like, I was doing like a lot of baneful magic, not a lot, but I would do breakup work, hexes, curses, like turn people life to shit. Like, and that's a lot of stuff that, like, I'm not even proud of. Like, that's not to brag or nothing like that, because that's like hella low vibrational. And when I look back now, like, it was almost 10 years ago now, but when I look back at it now, like, I'd be so disgusted with myself that I did those kind of things, but they came into fruition. You know what I'm saying? So then I ended up inventing like this douche, right? So I ended up inventing like this douche that was like a love spell in a bottle. Like, I don't know what I was doing and putting in those douches. They was called voodoo pussy douches or bomb ass pussy douches. Okay, so some people was even calling it pussy crack, because these are like herbs that I'd steep myself. These dishes were handmade. Like, I know people be like, oh, you're not supposed to douche, gynecologists say you're not supposed to douche, but like, this was a holistic douche that was really like helping people. So not only would you use this douche and a man would go crazy, y'all. Like, the man would go crazy if a woman, like, I started selling them. So, and that was popping severely. So if a woman would use that like before sex or before a date or before, seeing her little boo thing or whatever, like, he would be all over her. Like, people started sending me all these reviews about what happened and what the man did to her and everything like that. And so it just started snowballing into like all these different things, because my douches wasn't just it was multifaceted. It wasn't just a one trick pony. Like, my douches was like, is like a love spell. It was like for PCOS, like endometriosis, like infertility. Like, people was using my douches. Women was using my douches and getting pregnant after they had been trying for so long, suffering from infertility. They'd use my douches and they get pregnant. Like, that was like the most the most prominent side effect of my douches. And I still do. Also, while we talking about it, my douches also cure get rid of BV, yeast infections, everything like that. It would tighten and tone the uterine walls, make it tight, make it right, make it fresh, balance your pH. Anyways, y'all, I ain't gonna get into that, but I had to like put that little plug in real quick, you know what I'm saying? So I started selling these dishes. Like, men was going crazy over it. The women was buying them back to back, everything like that. So eventually, like, I started teaching classes, and it came to a point where I felt like I had learned everything that I could learn, and I had taught everything that I could teach at that time, because I was teaching people about ancestor veneration, venerating their ancestors, talking about just a whole lot of different things. Then I started teaching them about the Wa or Risha, like learning about them, all the different deities, all the different saints, how to do certain kind of magic, how to do money magic, how to do, glamour spells. I started teaching classes with like these few other like veteran witches. Like, we started teaching classes. Like, everything was cool, everything was smooth, everything was honky-dory. At this point, I'm feeling like a cult leader, okay? Like, I'm feeling like that I've made a cult of damn near 20,000 people. Like, I'm the cult leader. If I say jump up and down and spin in a circle, they was gonna do it. Like like Blueface, if I would have told them, hey, bark like a dog and I'll let you in, they would have did it. Like, and that's nothing to brag about, because I just had influence, you know what I'm saying? And so I started to notice how I was influencing them negatively. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hindsight is 2020. Like, at the time, I didn't think that I was, but I started seeing how I was influencing them negatively because, you know, instead of doing the self-love work, instead of doing the shadow work, instead of doing, you know, the inner work that you got to do to actually heal, like, you be in a bad way. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really in a way to be practicing and dibbling dabbling in magic and, you know, energy manipulation when, you know, you still have trauma, or you haven't healed, you haven't done your shadow work, because you'll get a lot, like, you'll get